The Chinese Riddler is back, and this time he's got information regarding Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. Let's take a look. So for the last few months, Riddler Coup has simply been explaining his riddles from Scarlet and Violet, but today has come out with a new tweet saying, want to know the code name of DLC project for Titan? Titan, of course, being a reference to Scarlet and Violet, and then posts some characters and says, enjoy. It's code breaking time. And of course, the community has gone into a frenzy trying to decipher exactly what they mean. And we're going to take a little deep dive here on the surface level to see exactly what's going down for Pokemon DLC. Now, if you haven't been caught up, Pokemon Day is coming in a little less than a month, and we expect there to be a DLC announcement then. In the previous DLC for Sword and Shield, they announced it early January, but they did 2 DLCs that year, Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. The thought right now is that there's just going to be 1 DLC at the end of the year. That's the speculation, but time will tell when they make that announcement. So a lot of people have been trying to poke and prod at this little post here to understand what exactly Riddler Coup is talking about. Pokisutami reports, time for a friendly reminder that I don't know Chinese before people ask, but 2 of the characters do have meaning in Japanese, and the characters mean many thousand. So some interesting stuff there. Many thousand. What do we think of when we think of thousand in relation to Pokemon? Well, Goldengo or Goldengo is the 1000th Pokemon, so that has some relevance. They just did that kind of like little announcement recently with the different Pokemon, showing them all off and so on and so forth. But I don't know if that's quite it. We see Malik actually saying, this is a Chinese phrase that means must be thousands or there must be thousands of them. It is often used to express surprise or amazement at the large number of something. It can be used for expressing a large number of anything, like people, things, or animals, and this was apparently generated by ChatGPT. So a lot of people are speculating, trying to use translations, trying to figure out what they could be meaning, what this could all have ties to. There's one particular thing that I think is relevant here, though, is when we think of 1000, there's another Pokemon that comes to mind, and that is Zygarde, right? Zygarde creates the 1000 waves, it creates the 1000 arrows. That could be incredibly relevant here, as we've already been speculating that the 3rd legendary, which some has some sort of a tie to the terrestrial mechanic through the little hats that they all wear and kind of the eyes in the hat. We're thinking that there may be a tie to Zygarde. We see that this big like egg kind of shape that was teased in the Scarlet and Violet book. And we're thinking that maybe that has to do with some sort of a Zygarde form, a Pokemon that notoriously already has multiple forms, perhaps has another form. There's a lot of speculation in how we're tying this all to Kalos, especially in a region that seems to be located pretty much to the south of Kalos, right? So a lot of interesting tie-ins there going to Zygarde, as well as kind of some other pieces with the 1000. So let me know if you guys have any thoughts. I think we're going to give it a little bit of time on the internet to sit for a little bit and see if anyone else kind of comes to any conclusions, or if the Riddler gives us any more information about this. Again, they've been pretty silent. I don't think we're gonna have to wait too long to get a little bit better of an interpretation, but I think that this has something to do with Zygarde, and I really do think that we're probably gonna see that tie-in with Zygarde into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and having a more important relevance in the story as we see this all developed out. But there's a lot more to talk about today, because that's like I said, the tip of the bergmite. Before I cover the rest of the stuff, which is wild, be sure you guys check out teamshiny.com. We actually launched some brand new merch there. You can check out our sweet designs at teamshiny.com and use code STELLAR to get 15% off your purchase if you pick up 3 shirts or more. We've got some of your favorite shiny designs and much more, including new Paradox forms, shinies like Mew, Umbreon, Charizard. Just scroll through the website, teamshiny.com, see if you find your favorite shiny. The shirts are really good quality. You're going to love them, so check them out at teamshiny.com. Oh, and leave a comment in the comment section below if there's any shinies that are missing from teamshiny.com that you desperately want us to make, because we could drop some new shirts for you. So here's where things get super interesting. Eclipse, who claims to be an insider and has posted some interesting stuff over the years, comes out and says, I'm just smiling seeing a, quote, trustable leaker indirectly pinpointing my own stuff as well as from my blocked account. That's what's happening. It's not like you can understand with just this. Of course, I'll explain what the deal is. Since early December 2021, I knew tidbits about Generation 9. The thing is, I took all this stuff at once and never pushed it for the long run, trying to get as much info as possible during the pre-campaign and during Scarlet and Violet advertisement period. I want to leave this insider figure that I am, especially for what concerns mainline. It's easy to misunderstand something shared under a riddle or hint flag, especially if we don't have much stuff to work around in the first place in order to share the news. Well, there's something kept for DLC which was key in Scarlet and Violet process, and I knew it all along. So what they're saying I think is really relevant here, right? When we look at Ku's riddles, when we look at any riddles of any sort of substance, you have this, like, it almost a lot of the time doesn't make sense until the end, right? We were able to decipher a ton of stuff over the years through Riddler Ku, determining evolutions and typings and all sorts of stuff, right? Like, it's not as if we can never get to a conclusion that's of substance, but a lot of the times it doesn't really, the aha moment comes after the fact, right? But they made this, Eclipse continues to say, this is what's being hinted by Ku right now. And this is what I posted long ago on my blocked account, exactly this topic. Watch an A-Drive video covering this. And I actually was like, wait, what did I do here? And I look back, and this is a video that I posted before Legends Arceus even came out, talking about the thoughts that we could be going to India at some point, or that there was going to be some relevance to India. And there was a couple things pointing towards that. Kaparaja, Pokedex entries with Raichu, and then this fact that Eclipse had posted this image of this mountain. And what we ended up determining is that this is actually a mountain called Mount Kalish, if I'm saying that correctly. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But basically going on to say that I'm sure some people remember this pic without the meaning. I picked this exact picture because it could only be found in the English wiki. And that's where I wanted people to fall for the key and resolution of the hint. So we actually see this post here from Aesthetic Kitsune, talking about the wiki, which helps me kind of decipher some of this. But when you go to the Mount Kalish wiki, for those who don't know, it is a mountain range in a region of China. I believe it extends into India, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the key takeaway here, what we're expecting, is that there's this little section on this that actually talks about the Tibetan name for the mountain range. And then it says, right here, it says the Tibetan word for snow peak is the precious one, and then it goes on to talk about a couple other things. But there's a really important piece here. The term can be translated to precious jewels of snow, which is interesting. And they also talk about the fact that this Kailasa, or kind of the name of it, could also mean crystals. So we're kind of stretching here, right? It says the name also could have been derived from the word crystal. So we're thinking you've got this big mountain. The origination of it could be originating from crystal, or at least in terms of its naming. And crystals are obviously a really, really big part of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and all of the stuff we're looking at, right? Like, they have this time machine, they have these Terra Raid crystals and these raid dens, and like this terrestrialization and crystallization of Pokemon is so incredibly important. We have this interesting riddle right now with something about 1,000 or many thousands. And I think there's some sort of connection here. I think that's where we're headed, right? Again, I know this is a little abstract, but I think that's where we're headed. I think we've got this mountain that may serve some sort of importance or significance in the DLC of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is, again, in the kind of top northeastern part of the map we're expecting. Perhaps it is represented based on Mount Kalish, and it is the mountain of many crystals, or it's the mountain of precious jewels of snow and crystals, and that is where kind of the Terrasta mechanic originated. That's where the source of the power is, which may have some sort of tie-ins to Zygarde, as it's on the border of Kalos. I don't know. I feel like there's something here. I really do. I think that there's something here. We'll have to see how it kind of all plays out. I don't think we're gonna have to wait long, though. DLC announcement most likely coming on Pokemon Day at the end of February. You let me know what you guys think about all this. Riddler Ku's riddle, maybe you guys have some better ideas on how to solve it. What Eclipse is saying regarding Mount Kalish and kind of the tie-in there. Is that significant for DLC? We will see. Be sure to check out TeamShoddy.com for some sweet merch and more. And let me know what Shoddy shirts you want to see in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.